don't like it. It's no numbers. There's no pictures. There's no videos. There's no gameplay. I don't like it.
Yo, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Today, we're going to get back into Sunrise Stories. Today, I'll be going over Separated. So, this story is actually inspired by two things. One, there's a character in Free Realms, literally in-game, that was like a Easter egg of sorts from the character Shaggy. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. By the way, Scooby-Doo is a tainted show for me now. We're never talking about that again. But the other inspiration was, you'll see it, but the inspiration came from someone on the FRS staff. I asked them if I could use them as an inspiration in this story. They said no. However, it's going to be a completely different character. The idea from the inspiration, though, I do want to use because it is vital to this story. So, yeah, that's kind of what this is all about. This, for one thing, this story doesn't relate to the Gloam invasion at all. It's kind of just a fun one that I came up with. I don't believe there's any relation to the Gloam invasion. It was just kind of a fun one that I wanted to do. There's a couple stories that we're going to go throughout this that are like that, and I'll mention them if they come up. But yeah, let's get into Separated. It was a dark and cold night in the windy town of Seaside. No one wanted to be outside, except me, Shaggy Mystery Chaser. I can't believe I spelled that wrong. That's crazy of me to do. However, we can fix these things. Done. I'm so cool, dude. All right. Except me, Shaggy Mystery Chaser. I welcomed the cold chill of the evening, winds and crabs on the beach that would challenge me. With no one in sight, I decided to call it an early night. I went back to Chasers Incorporated, which was my place of business, to see if anyone had stopped by. To my surprise, the building was empty, as always. I could hear the silence like it was screaming in my ears. I went to my desk and decided to look through old case files, see if I could work on something to keep my mind at bay. So, the kind of the theme of the story, and I'm gonna read it like it is in that theme, is if you've ever seen those like old shows where it's like an old school detective and he's like doing monologue voicing, that's kind of what I wanted to do here. That's kind of the theme I've got going. I thought it would be really cool to do that, and I also got it from a different game I was playing my own time, that literally had a guy that was like monologuing the entire time, and I was like, I have to do something in the vein of this, you know? So yeah, let's keep going. I sat down in my chair and it felt like I was sitting on the beach. But sitting in the chair reminded me of two friends I used to share this business with, Jojo and Scooby. Jojo was a chugawug. Odd that he wanted to be a part of the business, but one day he up and left. So Jojo is one of the chugawugs from a previous story, the culture story. I'm pretty sure Jojo, if I were to like scroll up really quick to like, can I actually just scroll up? Oh, believe Jojo is, yeah, so Jojo is the thief. He actually just out of nowhere, I wrote that, you know, he helped in, I wrote that he helped run this business. So yeah, a little bit of a lore piece that Jojo ran the business with them, but he, you know, one day he up and left, probably to become this thugawug. So yeah, but one day he up and left. A part of me hoped he was doing what he wanted to do, but I wish he had told me why he left. Scooby, on the other hand, was taken from me one night. I pulled out the case file, and it was as cold as it got. It was colder than the freezer in the back, and that hunk of metal is ice cold. I looked at it like I had looked at my case, like any case, but I needed answers. Just when I was about to close up shop, this dame walked in with her head down. For all I know, she was looking to rob me in the dead of night. Or maybe she was looking to hire me for a job. She walked underneath a light, and I could tell she wasn't from around here. From the branch-like limbs she had and the purple skin tone, it looked like she was from Briarwood. She didn't say much, but she did hand me a piece of paper, most likely the reason she stopped by. So this is actually what Shaggy, that's his actual name, Shaggy Mystery Chaser. I didn't make that up. That's the only thing I made up was Chasers Incorporated, but yeah, this was like actual, like an in-game character, and there was a quest line tied to it. I don't know the quest line because I don't think I ever ran into this dude. I don't remember a lot of the quests in Free Realms. It's hazy, you know, it's foggy. But anyway, let's keep going. Reading the paper, it looked like she wrote out what she wanted to say to me. She wrote, "My name is Brittle. I've come to your office because I was told you were a private investigator. You see, I'm from Briarwood, and I lost someone very dear to me. It was my Vine Wolf, Vinyl. One day we decided to explore Black Spore Swamp, and I turned away to look across the swamp for the sights. When I looked back for Vinyl, he was gone. I was hoping you could find him and return him to me. The dame had guts coming to Seaside for my help. I'll give her that. She gave me a photo of him so I know what he looks like." So, yeah, this is the inspiration part. The Briarwood, I think I can't remember the race they're called. I think it's, I'm probably gonna butcher it. It's, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember. I think it's, hold on one second. I can probably figure out what it is. Changeling? Yeah, I think that's it. I could be wrong. I think it's Changeling because I wrote it down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Changeling. Has to be. Yeah, that's what they're called. So that's their species. That's what a lot of, like, anyone who's been changed by Briarwood. I don't know if that's the term you'd use, but like anyone who's been changed by Briarwood lives there. At least I think that's where all changelings are. I could be wrong. I think some are in Black Spore, but yeah, and the names I made up completely, but they're very cool and original. Let's keep going. I went back to my desk and I looked at my cold case file for Scooby. The cases seemed similar and it might be a way for me to find Scoob. I got up from my chair, nodded to her, and made my way. Is there space there? If there's a space there, I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream. Let's see. There is. It's just very hard to tell. Okay. I made my way to Black Spore. I hadn't been to this place in a while. The last time I was here was when Scooby disappeared. We were on a case, and I made the mistake of telling him that we should split up. When we did, I never saw him again, and even searched all over Black Spore for him. Something in the back of my mind told me this time was going to be different, especially looking for Vinyl. Black Spore had seen better days. It reminded me of my office when I had to seal it off like a quarantine zone. I walked all over the swamp and didn't see any signs of the Vine Wolf. I kept looking around, but it felt like I was just going in circles with no direction. Then, it finally hit me that there was one location I hadn't checked yet. Like a snow hill yeti on ice skates, I went to the Black Spore Forest. As odd as it was for a swamp to have a forest, I had no other options in my investigation. When I arrived at the center of the forest, I saw two tall figures who looked to be up to no good. I leaned against a tree until they turned around and noticed me. One figure, wearing a mask on his face, stared me down harder than the hot sun at Seaside on a Monday afternoon. The other figure had squirrels on his shoulders, made me wonder if he had rabies or something like it. The man with the squirrels crossed his arm and asked, "Are you going to be monologuing all day, or are you going to say something?" Squirrel Man had the gall to say I was monologuing, whatever that meant. They were as dumb as those crabs on Seaside Beach, always walking back and forth like they owned the place. Squirrel Man shook his head and said, "Well, allow me to introduce ourselves. My name is Cyrdo, King of Squirrels, and this is my mute friend, Jason Maskface. He doesn't speak much because of the mask." I assume that much, due to the fact that the mask covers his mouth. I can't help but wonder what these guys are up to, but knowing bad guys, I'm sure they were going to tell me their whole operation. Jason looked at me funny, then Cyrdo shrugged and said, "We're actually looking for a creature. It's about yay high. Looks like a wolf covered in vines. He ran off a bit ago, and we can't leave this forest without him." I've got these two wrapped around a Black Spore tree. They're telling me every detail I need to know. Hopefully the Vine Wolf turns up and I can return to the rightful owner, but I might as well help search. So, real quick, so these two characters, they're actually in-game characters. They have names and everything. They're heroes. I wanted to kind of combine their stories because, like, originally, like, I was gonna do something with their characters. I didn't know what story to fit them into, and I thought this one would work because I had no ideas on like where they would fit into a story. Because, I mean, these characters I know zero about. I think Jason Maskface is like he's a Halloween event character. Cyrano, as far as I don't know much about him, so I thought like, hey, let's write him into this. He was almost like, I don't want to call them both like throwaway characters, but this is kind of what that story was for, to put characters that didn't really have a place, you know? But yeah, let's keep going. Suddenly, the sky turned to a dark purple, and so did some of the swamp life as well. I almost forgot I wrote this in. So yeah, this does connect to the globe invasion a little bit. Just a tiny bit, nothing crazy. But funny enough, this story, I almost forgot that I wrote it like that. This story takes place during the globe invasion, so as it's happening. And they don't realize what it is. They don't realize what it is, but they kind of just ignore it like, oh, this must be normal. So I'm glad I made a connection. Maybe not, I don't think every story, there's like, I think one story that probably doesn't have a connection to the globe invasion, but I will point it out if that's the case. So let's keep going. Cyrano looked at me funny and said, "Wait, you look familiar. Ah, I remember you now. You were in this swamp when we took your mangy mutt. The look on your face when you couldn't find him, it was priceless." I lit up like a flame that could ignite a forest fire. They took him from me, and now I've got a chance to get him back once and for all. Jason shook his head at me. Then Cyrano laughed and said, "Unfortunately for you, your dog is gone. We sold him to the highest bidder, and he's probably not in Sacred Grove anymore. It'd be best if you gave up the search." With tears rolling down my face like the lakeshore stream, I dropped to my knees. I didn't know how to keep going without my dog. Then suddenly, a loud and violent howl came from one of the Black Spore Hills, louder than any wolf I've heard. It was the Vine Wolf I had been searching for. It ran down the hill and let out a scream at Cyrano and Jason. Cyrano commanded the squirrels to attack Vinyl, and so they did. Vinyl had other plans and chased them off into the swamp. Jason tried to grab the beast, but Vinyl grabbed his arm and threw him into the swamp as well. Cyrano stood there, shaking in his boots like a baby without his bottle, and said, "Jason, we're leaving. Collect yourself and leave the beast alone. I know when we're not needed." He stormed off with Jason and his wet squirrels out of Black Spore. I was relieved to see the Vine Wolf in perfect health, but sad Scooby was nowhere to be found. I motioned to the Vine Wolf to follow me, and it panted like it was a hot summer day. We made our way back to the Chasers Incorporated, and Brittle was waiting inside. She saw Vinyl, dropped to her knees, and gave me a hug. She wrote on a piece of paper, showed it to me, and it read, "Thank you. I'll do whatever I can to repay you." I shook my head and motioned to the door with a smile. She nodded, and I left my office. Solving that case for her was payment enough. I couldn't help but feel happy that she got her best friend back, and now I was going to do the same. I took my cold case file with me, my belongings, and anything else that could help me in bringing Scooby home. I closed up the shop and left a note saying, "On leave. Will return once things are in order." I knew if I was going to continue Chasers Incorporated, it wasn't going to be the same without my best friend and partner. So yeah, that was separated. So I figured there was kind of a storyline to tell there with like, oh, Shaggy lost his, his dog, and Brittle lost her Vine Wolf. So like kind of similar stories. But I don't know. I definitely wanted to try something different for writing, and I think this was very good. It was kind of just like monologuing the entire time. But yeah, that was separated. If you guys enjoyed the story, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching. I appreciate it a ton. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!